speaker is a senior biopsychology major. I'm very excited about this talk. You all should be, and it applies to, I would argue, 95% of you. Maybe not. Oh, could you turn it off for me? You turn it off.
I don't know how.
Just a switch on the top. Technical detail. She is going to talk to you all about something that I am sure you are all very acutely aware of. If not all of you, then you all have friends who have a problem, or you like it. It's wide ranging across the university. And more about our speaker. She's, as I said, a senior biopsychology major. She's a manager at the Res. Yep. So that's exciting, and you'll see why in a minute. She will serve you coffee with the friendliest smile you've ever seen in your entire life, guaranteed. And you can also find her reaching for high things or asking for help to reach for high things on while she's working. Sorry, Noha. She has a passion for, if you haven't already guessed, coffee. And she's here to talk to you all about, or rather challenge us all to think critically about this thing that we do every morning, twice a morning, 6 times a day, at 2 a.m. So can we please give it up for Miss Noha Ahmed?
Can everyone hear me? Kind of. Yeah, I can use that.
Moving up to the microphone. Picture this. You're studying for hours and hours on end in the library for a biochemistry or psychology or EC5 exam tomorrow. And you're unable to even think about the function of enzymes or Piaget's theories of development or profit margins for another second. And it's 2 a.m. and you've been here too long. And with so much to do before you gain that pre-test confidence that you need for tomorrow, what do? We've all been there before. Trying to pull those brilliant ideas out of our minds and into a word processing document, or reading the same sentence 100 times over in our textbook, and retaining absolutely nothing. And we've all given the same thing a try, at least once, to remedy this problem. To somehow help us focus, or to keep going for another hour or two, to somehow swallow down that awfully bitter taste for the thrill to come. What I'm talking about is coffee. How many of you in this room have ever had a cup of coffee before? Oh wow, that's a lot. Has anyone had a cup of coffee today? Oh, me too. And the reality is that a lot of us, myself included, have become increasingly reliant on coffee. It's the drug that keeps us going, keeps America running, as Duncan says, and gets us all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed to start our days right. I know I need my morning cup to wake me up. And it's biologically proven, really. Science proves that coffee works. It's the function of that magical little molecule we all know about, caffeine, that works by blocking adenosine receptors, the neurotransmitter that regulates your sleepiness, and in turn increases your alertness. So that cup of coffee that you're having in the morning is really doing something. But what about the one at 2 a.m.? How much is that cup of coffee really doing to reverse the effects of a day's worth of wear and tear on the body? It's all too common to drink coffee with the hope that at some point it'll put its voodoo magic to work. But the way I see it, there's more to just science. Coffee has these understated psychological influences. Coffee is a fake superpower, but one that fools us to be more productive. And in a society where productivity is of the utmost importance and laziness is the bane of our existence, that false sense of productivity is exactly what we need. We're in college, and we're told to keep going from point A to point B to take as many classes as we can, ace all those classes, have internships and extracurriculars, and fill our schedules with endless amounts of commitments, so that we can reach our goals and be the next Oprahs and Gandhis of the world. With this increased age comes increased responsibility and an increased societal pressure to succeed. But with eating and sleeping and relaxation on the back burner, how do we get there? It's with this liquid cup of motivation by our sides. Coffee. Coffee is a gateway into adulthood, a sign of maturity, a way of saying, hey, I'm not a little kid anymore. Little kids don't drink coffee. Let me see a show of hands. How many of you started drinking coffee with more regularity in college? Think to yourselves, why? Did it taste good at first? No. Why'd you come back to it? Was it because our parents do it? Is it because our friends do it and we think it's cool? It's a combination of all of those things, but it's more than that. It's about the environment that coffee creates. It's the environment and associated culture that comes as a result of coffee that bolsters its popularity. How many of you have ever sat down, oh, think to yourselves, you don't need to raise your hands for this one. Lots of raising hands. How many of you have ever sat down at the res without buying anything? You don't have to tell me. Just to do work. Or rather have went to Starbucks and scanned the menu for the cheapest thing, just to take advantage of a comfortable environment. There's some degree of comfort at Tamper, Diesel, IO, DPH, the Res, and there's a reason why so many coffee shops exist and that people keep going back to them. Coffee shops are third spaces, an intermediate between home and work that uses comfortable aspects of both to make a personalized space just for you. The coffee shop business realizes that humans are social beings and that these social interactions that we have carry some value. And they use this idea to their advantage to create an interesting and unique space just for you. It's this place where you can talk to a complete stranger without knowing them and have a great conversation, or gain a sense of belonging from just sharing the same environment as somebody else. In a coffee shop, a student is surrounded by a rich social circle. Everyone in your close vicinity is working on something, whether it be working on a text talk, or reading an article, or finishing the New York Times Sunday crossword. And this idea of working together drives us to sit down, plug into that Wi-Fi, and get productive. It's an environment where you're completely alone, but don't feel so lonely. For college students, coffee shops are an escape from the sterile and often ill-ventilated library environment that is Tisch, and a place for us to get away from campus, get away from our friends, without it being weird, and sit down and just do some work. We're in school and we're away from our true homes, the places where we're most comfortable, and transplanted into this new place called college. But let's think. You get to your dorm room or apartment at the beginning of the semester, it's completely empty, and you fill it with photos and posters and candles and twinkling lights and incense, and make that place your own. Coffee shops, they do the brunt work for you. They have the friendly baristas, the smell of coffee brewing, the nice lighting, the weird artwork on the walls, and all of that makes it comfortable for you. All you have to do is sit down and make that third space your own. Has anyone here, think to yourselves again, has anyone here ever gone to a coffee shop alone? And why is it that we can go to a coffee shop alone, but going to dinner by ourselves is to some degree taboo? It's because of this comfortable environment that the coffee shop creates. It fosters productivity because you're able to sit down and feel comfortable and not have to worry about the social stigmas around you. What's more is that coffee shops harness creativity, and for you skeptics out there, here's some research. Research has found that the ambient noise of coffee shops, the sound of coffee grinding, of orders being taken, of people chatting, is just the perfect level of noise to provide a productive distraction. The Made the Research Group found that individuals doing a creativity task performed significantly better than a control group performing the same creativity task, not in a coffee shop. This shows that the brain is distracted. but not so much distracted that it's not able to process information, or at least that's what they found, and that this increases creativity. For more proof, look to J.K. Rowling. She wrote a large portion of her Harry Potter series in the Elephant House coffee shop in Edinburgh, on napkins for that matter. And that's a really extreme example, but it shows that coffee shops, this creativity, all of that is synonymous with inspiration. And that the ambient noise, the strange amalgam of people that coffee shops attract, are a source of inspiration for other people. Next time you're waiting in an outrageously long line to grab yourself a cup of coffee, think to yourself, is it the coffee, the caffeine, or the associated culture that you're buying into? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Noha.